Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. I've got another 60 Grassy commentary for you guys, and this is versus Pros, or the GOAT. We're going to just jump right into it. It's a pretty good game, and offers some instructive value, I think, in how you can play some solid 60 Grassy. So here, I know that GOAT has a Shock Shield book. Well, I don't know for sure, but I know that he loves to run that, and he also likes Abduction. So I'm expecting something like that. I also expected him to drain me off, but he didn't because he's a noob. And here, small note about teleporting in. I could have just teleported over here, but maybe I was concerned about a flash knock, which might be possible. You know, he flings me out this way with the reverse flash, and I go off the map. So it could definitely be possible, but I'm not 100% sure if I should be too worried about that, and also I gotta burn a BFTP to get out of this tree. So I would probably have just gone there instead on the left, and then I won't have to burn a blast from the past to get out. So I brought Mudball because I don't like dealing with the flight prot turn 2 kind of BS, because it's hard to deal with. And he BFTP's out. At least I forced him to use one in response. And I'm just going to probably kill his swarm here and say, okay, what are you going to do now? Maybe I think he wants to, bring out a Storm Shield. Instead, he decides to just control my movement, which is often the best play. Limit your opponent's movement. I'm going to flash out here. I'm keeping track of when DK is coming out, which is going to be on turn 6. So next turn he's going to have DK. Maybe I'm just going to bring out a swarm. Yeah. And maybe it's not quite this turn. I think it might be the following turn. I don't know. The cooldowns are all wacky now. Brings out a spirit. And here I'm like, okay, I'm down. Ideally I want to get up there and maybe tower to compete for map control. But I actually mess up this BFTP, so now I'm down 2 BFTP. That's going to be putting me on my back foot. That's enough of a mistake to maybe lose you a game, but also just put you on your back foot and force you to play for a draw. So you can see I try this. I bang my head against the wall for a few minutes, and then I just say, okay, well that sucks. Let me prot. And here I think he's going to be able to bring DK out and drain it up. One, not trick, but I guess mechanic or strategy that you can use is you mount your DK and then you drain it. Here I BFTP again, but I think that's useless. The reason is, well, the swarm just absorbs the tree, and also I can't get out. My swarm can, but if I bring my swarm out, he just kills it. So I BFTP out and then I tree the holes, and it's like, well, what was the point of that? Now I'm down 3 BFTPs, I've got no map control, and a single swarm. Not looking too good, but we'll see if I can draw this game out. So he does do that strategy of draining the Dark Knight up. He mounts it himself. It gives the DK 30 extra health without damaging him. It just does 60 damage to the Pegasus instead of 30. Because he aimed for the head of the player, of GOAT. So he drained himself with the Pegasus. I'm just going to make some space and say, you know what, I know that you don't have Pebbles. You're a kind of slow player, kind of like Valar. And so I am thinking I'm going to be safe down here for at least a few more turns. I free that swarm, but it also damages it, which sucks because he can just flash out and kill it. But I do have 3 muds, so I'm going to start to use muds to stall and prolong the game. I want to get out at some point and hide, and he does give me an opportunity to do that, which is good. So my game plan now is, okay, he's got map control. I'm not going to be up on the top. I'm going to go to the side. I'm going to tree myself in, spawn a swarm, spawn a Pegasus, spawn another swarm, and make an undead Pegasus. That's my plan. So he is going to probably try to flash to me, and we'll see kind of how the game ends up progressing. I think flashing down here is okay, but he doesn't really have to rush, and I think he's rushing a little bit with the flashing. Like, he could get a swarm out, start to make an undead Pegasus, but I guess he knows that I have Ray, so what's the point of really making undead Pegasus? However, you know, maybe he's got some coverage from Ray with that mud ball. He could pretty easily at least get one out. But, you know, he chooses to flash a bit. I get another prot stacked, and I'm feeling okay. I think I've stabilized a bit. He does have the Dark Knight out, which is threatening, obviously, right? But I'm feeling okay. I actually feel really good after this move. I tree his Pegasus in, and now he's isolated from his Dark Knight, and he's going to have to take a few turns to escape. Yeah, he could flash that open, but the Pegasus wouldn't be able to fit through. So he's just going to choose to do the slow play, take the swarm with the tree, flash out the tree, and then the Pegasus will be able to fit. Okay, he decided to flash out this way, which is probably suboptimal because his Pegasus still can't fit, I don't think. Maybe it can. Actually, yeah, it looks like it can. So that was a fine play. I'm just pressuring him at top with Ray. This mix has Mud and Ray in it. Mud to help with stalling and Ray to help with top control. Downside to this book is I don't really have anything else besides Dark Knight to do damage and threaten. So in like today's game where DK's now nerfed, this is pre-patch, by the way. In today's game where DK's now nerfed, this book wouldn't be very good, I don't think. And yeah, good to note that these are pre-patch games. Okay, he's going to trap absolutely nothing. I don't know. That's a weird tree. I can just free my both swarms and make more space. So I'm totally fine with that play. Instead of making more space, I decide to do another prot because I'm thinking he's very aggro right now. He's going to want to dig to me. So dig to me. You know, I've got an undead Pegasus now that's full health. I'm feeling okay. And I tree him in even further. He's got to take a few turns to escape out of that one. Again, he's isolated from his DK. So I think I'm doing quite a good job stalling so far. Is it a masterclass? I don't know, because, you know, if you don't watch my early game, maybe this stalling is a masterclass, but using 3 BFDPs and failing one of them is not ideal. And it's pretty sad sometimes in 60G. It can be mentally taxing, like, you know, you're on turn 5 and you fail a BFTP, and that ultimately leads you to playing for a 60-turn, 75-minute draw, and then you close your client and cry after that, pretty much. So you have to be mentally prepared to play for a draw. Otherwise, yeah. But yeah, just blundering in the early game is just super deflating. But the more you practice, the better you get. So, you know, just like anything else, practice makes perfect. You're not going to get perfect, but practice will help you improve. He abducts here for God knows why. Now I think my Pegasus can actually go out of there, and like now it's free on the top of the map. He does some laddering, which is pretty cool. Maybe I'll do a video on laddering sometime and show you guys that technique. I won't do it now because this is a pretty long game, but yeah, if you've made it this far, let me know if you want a video on laddering. DX made one recently too, so maybe I can make my own version. Just like, you know, focusing on the basics, nothing too crazy advanced or anything. So here, yeah, his DK kills my undead Pegasus, which is a good play. I do a little bit of Ice Shield shenanigans to trap his Dark Knight, and I decide to go for damage, just ray him. I don't really have much to help me stall. If I go over to this little hidey hole here and try to flash open some more space. He could maybe charge me without sinking his Dark Knight and do a good amount of damage. I was a little concerned about that. Perhaps I could bait it out and then trap his Dark Knight. Maybe that would be a good play. Here I'm thinking, oh man, is a Pebble Sink possible? Like, could I do it? But then I shock shield with the Pegasus and I'm like, oh man, it's not really possible. So, lost that opportunity there. And he just towers out of the mud. I've got one more mud left, so I'm still stalling okay. It's kind of early though, not too early actually. 27 turns, one mud ball. That's a little shitty. That's not ideal. But, you know, I'm doing what I can. And, I don't know, maybe another swarm here is good, or a Pegasus, or, yeah, another swarm. So, he just, you know, fine sitting in his tower. Again, I use the tree to block off his minions from himself. And here, actually, I can Pebble Sink, right? Yeah. Pebble Sink is totally possible here. I just take him with the swarm and sink him. So that sets me in a pretty good position to draw. Again, I get a nice play there, and he also just shock shielded, so he loses that opportunity. So great play. I think he rushed a bit too much. He needs to kill that tree and not flash open to me. Again, he's thinking, oh, Coeval is a noob. I don't need to really try versus him, you know. It is what it is. But now I've got an Undead Pegasus too, so that'll help me out a lot. And he can't really easily kill it. So I am going to maybe Protection Shield again, or, you know, I don't know, maybe Spirit is a fine play here. I don't really have many moves. My book is generic. Okay, Ray was up, so getting the AoE on the Ray to kill the Swarm. That's also a nice mechanic that you can learn, just the AoE on Ray, because you don't actually have to hit the unit to kill it, right? Of course, if you try to get the AoE on the Ray and then you miss, that would suck. But here I am thinking, okay, he can maybe charge and kill my Pegasus if he wants, but then his DK will be trapped down here. So I'm just gonna keep stalling. What else is there to do? Bring that Pegasus out, and here he doesn't have prots, so I'm curious if he would try to push, but he actually doesn't. He just wants to get his swarm through, which is a good play. He's going to kill my swarm, so maybe the positioning of that swarm wasn't the best. But, I mean, it's not a losing move or anything. Just something to be cognizant of. Positioning is huge. So Prot is a fine play here. Maybe he doesn't have it quite up, so he just goes with this for the Storm Spirit, which is fine as well. I'm going to take my Undead Pegasus, and again I'm seeing an opportunity to tree him in with all of his minions if I can get that opportunity. I don't know if I have tree up at this point, but it might be a fine play, just to again limit his movement and his range of motion with his minions and himself as well. So looks like I elect to just get another swarm out. Again, I'm just trying to get as many minions out as possible. I bring up the draw because I'm like, 33, I'm feeling a little bit bored. But of course he still has chances. So if I'm him, probably prod up and then kill a Pegasus with the Dark Knight, and then the game continues. So we'll see how this goes, what he chooses to do. Okay, so he trees the Pegasus, which is okay, I think. Not, you know, particularly threatening, but I decide to tree him in. Again, just kind of trying to stall out as best as I can. And at this point, I don't know, there's a lot going on, a lot of trees, a lot of swarms. This is peak 60G pretty much. And you'll notice if a player has Shock Shield, a lot of the times they will just, stand. Excuse me. They will just fly and use it. Like, they won't even use it on a player or a minion. They'll just use it on a tree or just, float in the air and cast it. And it looks kind of weird. It's like, why would you just, not even use it for the damage? But if you're going to have a spell in your book, you might as well use it. And just getting it up creates more possibilities, right? If he eventually gets to me and his Shock Shield is up, he can damage me then. Whereas if he didn't cast it earlier, then he would have to cast it after he's opened up a path to get to me. So he's just kind of anticipating getting to me in the next few turns, so he gets the Shock Shield up. That's his thought process. Here my only issue is I don't have space, and I can't really flash to get space. It's tricky. He does get an Undead Pegasus there. I do decide to prot with the Pegasus just to, I don't know, prevent the zombie from coming soon. Hopefully I can prevent him from getting the zombie. We'll see. So, he's doing a lot of movement. I'll skip through this. He just casts a protection shield. And I again get the Ray AoE off and I kill one of his swarms, which is good. And my Pegasus is down to 50 though, so it's getting close to being able to be zombied, but instead he'll probably just kill it and then charge with the Dark Knight. Although charging with the Dark Knight, I can flash the Dark Knight off and then it's, a new game. So he has to be careful. Here, if I'm him, I don't know. Yeah, flashing out is a good move. Just to give him more space to work with. And maybe he's going to come through to my position with through another avenue. Like he's going to go through the top here instead of the bottom. And just chip away at the Pegasus with the Shock Shields. He's got 50 passive damage that he's able to do, which is great for him. He again doesn't really have Pebble, which wouldn't be too useful here, but just a reminder. Okay, he kills the Undead Pegasus, which is a good play. And now I have some chip damage that I can do, which is good. Maybe a good time to use my last mud here. Turn 38. And then we'll see if I can stall well enough. So last mud is probably the only move here, unless I have Pegasus or Tree. Yep, I do, so I decide to use Tree instead, which is the best play because if I use a mud, then I'm down a mud, and I have 0 muds. But Tree's rechargeable, so always use that on charge. He actually gets his DK stuck, which is hilarious, so he has to use Abduct to get it out, which he hasn't really used. He hasn't really gotten an opportunity to take advantage of that. He flashes my swarm into another swarm, and they both die. That really sucks. Now here, I'm wondering, can I drain him off? Okay, so flash, could I drain him off here? It looks possible. And it also looks less risky than a Pebble, which I think is what I end up going for. Let's just go like that. Boom! Let's go, baby! That's a great play. Okay, so we're back, and I'm going to try this Pebble Sink again. I think just like aiming at the tip of the head is good. Let's see. Like right there. Yeah, that would have been good. So aim at the tip of the head, it would have been better, but he gets knocked up. I aimed a little bit too low, and then, yeah, as a result, he was able to evade the Pebble Sink. So unfortunate, I took a bit of a risk, and you gotta know in 60G, especially when you're deep into a game, you gotta be either fully commit to those plays, which I did. I fully committed, and I just botched the aim. Unfortunately for me, he's got a DK, so he's able to do this straight up charge. He botched the Ice Shield a little bit, but he's able to actually go to the left of me and then charge straight up, which is tragic. Super tragic, I know, and then at this point I'm kind of depressed. I'm like, oh shit, I just fucked that up. Now I'm all the way down to 133, and I was at 250 with 125 prop, so he basically did like over 240 to me, and I just have to tower. There's not much else I can do to stall. I have one mud left, so that's still some hope. 41 turns, yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. So we'll see what I can do. I still have the draw up, of course, because I was thinking I could get that pebble sink. So, but drain could have also worked, which I didn't see in the moment. I actually have watched this replay quite a bit, and I didn't even consider. I didn't even consider that move. So he's just gonna DK me and say, okay, well, you're out of moves. Maybe I need to go over on the other side of him and mud, and then he's gonna shock shield maybe with the storm spirit. Maybe I tree this area here. Let's see, let me ping. Tree this area here, or tree this area here. Yeah. I don't really have many plays. Can he ladder the Dark Knight? Maybe I challenged him a bit to see if he could ladder the Dark Knight here. Just because, yeah, I don't have many plays. I have to force him to make a play. And it looks like he is not going to be able to do it. No, yeah, he's not going to be able to do it. So I buy a turn here, and maybe he's just going to shock shield and deflight me and say, okay, what now? I'm just going to have to spend a turn to kill the spirit, keep the Pegasus up there, and the game will go on. And at this point, 42 turns, it's going to be 43 after I drain the spirit. Still possible to draw. We'll see if I can squeak it out here, but I don't know. I did say earlier that, well, I kind of learned one thing, that maybe draws aren't the best type of content to post, so if you're here, still, stay tuned. Promise it's a good ending. So he does elevator the DK back up to that little tree there. I would probably just bring a Pegasus out and say, well, now I can fly it all the way over, kill your Pegasus, and what are you going to do about it? Well, I'm going to tree, buy a turn again. Maybe he can flash out that mud ball. For some reason, he decides to flash downward, whereas if he flashed the mud ball up top, I think his Pegasus could fit through. I could be wrong. Looks like the peg can fit through. Maybe it barely can't. Yeah, it looks like it maybe barely could. I don't know, hard to say. But the Pegasus probably doesn't fit through there. He's able to get the Dark Knight, though. He can ladder it up if he wants. Oh, he just uses Abduction. Okay, well, shit. Yeah, Abduction is broken, guys. It's since been changed to be more broken, actually, probably, since the patch, but this is the older Abduction. This is a 6.1 replay. I just had a few replays that I wasn't able to get uploaded in time. But, yeah, I have the Swarm here. I've got no flight. I've got no prot, I don't think. I just got a tower. Keep the Swarm alive so that he can't go down and Storm Shield it. He just chooses to drain it with the Dark Knight. And I just drain the Dark Knight with myself because, well, what else am I going to do, right? I don't have any tower, I don't have flight, I don't have prot. And so he's going to trap me down here and maybe charge. And it's looking dicey. I have to gate away again. I don't know. You can see how stressful some of these situations are, guys. When you just make a couple of mistakes, take a risk late in the game, and it doesn't go well for you. Yeah, it sucks. But Pebble can be learned. You can teach yourself how to knock with pebbles. So here I'd teleport down in this middle area, and I'm thinking, is there another place that would have been fine? I don't know if I'm really safe in any other area. But it's at this point that I realize he has Abduction, and I'm like, oh shit. So he's able to move his Dark Knight through this seemingly impossible, you know, or he goes this way, and he abducts, I think, yeah. And now he's able to just walk his Dark Knight. That shit is just so busted, man. But he makes a great play with abduction and charges up. Nerf abduction! Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Damn, he got a lot of wands. I got a lot of wands as well. We're just like gods of Arcanists. What can I say? Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day. Peace out.